Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 14th and 15th of September 2023. Also there would be no revision session today. Why? Because we have to cover the current affairs for 2 days. Obviously number of questions would be more than usual, right? So that's why today we'll cover only important news and events from both the days. Let's start with our session. Which city topped the Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2023 Clean Air Survey? So Union Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Bhupendra Yadav has recently announced the results of the Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2023, which is also known as Clean Air Survey. So in this, Indore, which lies in the state of Madhya Pradesh, has claimed the top spot among the million plus population cities, and this survey in its second year include 130 identified cities under the National Clean Air Program. Okay, don't forget that Agra, which lies in the state of Uttar Pradesh, was at the second position, and then it was followed by Thane, that lies at Maharashtra, and it is at third position. Fine. So which are the top 3 cities under Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2023 Clean Air Survey? Answer would be Indore, Agra and Thane. Fine. Now yesterday we have talked about the Kala Jeera rice. Why it was in news? Because a private company, Javik Shri Farmers Producers Company, applied for the GI tag for Kala Jeera rice of Karaput, that lies in the state of Odisha. And the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation in Odisha has raised some concerns over potentially excluding the local farmers from its benefits. So that's why this foundation has argued that only government agencies should apply for the GI tags to ensure broad benefits to the farming community. Okay, so that's why Kala Jeera rice is once again in news, and it is the GI tagged product from the state of Odisha. You have to tell me which is the other product from Odisha state that got the GI tag along with the Kala Jeera rice. Please write your answer in the comment section if you remember. Next is, which country has launched Deccan High Level Principles on Food Security and Nutrition? So India, under its G20 presidency, has introduced an initiative that have gained consensus within the G20 Agriculture Deputies group, and the first initiative is this Deccan High Level Principles on Food Security and Nutrition, and the second is an international research initiative that focuses on millets and ancient type of grain. Okay, so both the initiatives are expected to feature prominently in the G20 outcome document. Fine. So this is the new initiative of our country, India. Now apart from it, Timor-Leste, which was seen in the news recently, is located in which particular region? First of all, let's see why this region is in news. During the annual ASEAN-India Summit that took place in Jakarta, Indonesia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced India's decision to establish an embassy in this region. So Timor-Leste joined ASEAN as an observer in the year 2022 before becoming a full-time member, and it gained importance in regional diplomacy. And this move to open an embassy in this region signifies India's strategic engagement in the Southeastern Asia part, which further strengthens the ties in line with its Act East policy. Fine. So this region lies in Southeast Asia. Okay. Which institution organized the 2023 Regional Cooperation and Integration Conference? So recently India presented its PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan at the 2023 Regional Cooperation and Integration Conference, which is organized by the Asian Development Bank in Georgia. And this conference aimed to enhance regional cooperation through economic corridor development And this platform offers data-driven decision-making tools and promotes holistic development of around critical project locations. Fine. So here correct answer would be ADB, that is Asian Development Bank. Headquarters lies in Philippines. Next is, which institution released the draft guidelines for prevention and regulation of the dark patterns? So the Department of Consumer Affairs has invited public feedback on the draft guidelines for prevention and regulation of the dark patterns. And what are these dark patterns? They are basically deceptive design practices that are used to manipulate the user behavior. And the guidelines define dark patterns such as false urgency and confirm shaming. Okay, and also it aims to promote fairness in the digital marketplace. Okay, and aim to prevent practices that mislead or deceive the consumers. So they seek to ensure transparency, protect consumer interest and promote fairness in the digital marketplace. Fine. So here correct answer would be Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Also, which institution has recently released a report that highlights the growth of online gig worker in developing nations? So this recent report was released by the World Bank, and it revealed that online gig work is on the rise globally, particularly in the developing countries. And the report estimates that nearly 435 million people worldwide are engaged in online gig work, with demand for such work increasing by 41% between 2016 and 2023. And this report underscores the need for social protections and labor standards to address the challenges that are faced by the gig workers worldwide. Okay, so your correct answer would be World Bank. This was the report from World Bank. Which company has introduced India's very first UPI ATM in partnership with National Payments Corporation of India? So this is Hitachi Payment Services, which is a subsidiary of Japan-based Hitachi, introduced India's first UPI ATM in partnership with the National Payments Corporation of India during the Global FinTech Fest in Mumbai. Okay, and this UPI ATM allows the customers to withdraw cash without the need for a debit or credit card, and the United Payments Interface, that is UPI, is a mobile payment method which is operated by NPCI that enables instant and free fund transfers between the different bank accounts, right? So which company has introduced India's first UPI ATM in partnership with NPCI, that is Japan-based Hitachi? Also, which institution has recently released the Gender Snapshot 2023 report? This is United Nations. United Nations has recently released a report stating that the goal of achieving gender equality by 2030 is unlikely to be realized due to deeply ingrained biases against women in various sectors like health, education, employment, and politics. So this report by United Nations Women and United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs highlights that active resistance to gender equality and chronic underinvestment are the key factors that slow down the progress and even leads to reversals in some of the cases. Okay, so which institution released the Gender Snapshot 2023 report? Answer would be United Nations. The next question is, which country are pioneering efforts to grow fruit tissue in the laboratories? So scientists at plant and food research in the country New Zealand are initiating the efforts to grow fruit tissue in laboratories to address growing food security concerns arising from climate change. And this program aims to produce fruit tissue from plant cells that closely resemble real fruit in terms of taste, smell and texture. Okay, correct answer would be the country New Zealand. Now can you tell me, scientists have recently discovered the fossil of Fujian venator from which country? It is a kind of bird-like dinosaur. So scientists have discovered the fossil of this particular dinosaur in Fujian province in the country China, and it dates back to approximately 148 to 150 million years ago. Okay, and this dinosaur has an unusual anatomy with elongated legs and arms that resemble the wings, and it belonged to a particular group called as Avialans, which includes the bird and their closest non-avian dinosaur relatives. Fine. Simply you have to remember that scientists have discovered this fossil of Fujian venator, which is a bird-like dinosaur in the country China. Next is Claudia Sheinbaum, who was seen in the news recently, is said to become the first leader of which country? So the ruling party of Mexico, that is the leftist National Regeneration Movement, has named former Mexico City Mayor, that is Claudia Sheinbaum, as its candidate for the next year's presidential elections, and she is a close ally of the president, and now she is positioned to become Mexico's first ever female leader. Okay, so she secured her nomination after winning each of the 5 nationwide polls, averaging about 39% of the vote. Okay, so Claudia Sheinbaum is said to become the first female leader of which country? Answer would be Mexico. Now apart from it, another name, Antonin Dvorak, is in news. You have to tell me he was associated with which profession? Why he was in news? Because Google Doodle has honored the 182nd birthday of Czech composer and musician Antonin Dvorak, who is known for his significant contributions to classical music. So that's why he was in news. He has been honored with Google Doodle. So you can be asked that he is associated with which profession? Answer would be music. Okay, he was a musician. Next is 1 week 1 lab program is organized by which institution in India? So CSIR, that is the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, is conducting a 1 week 1 lab program from the 11th to 16th of September 2023. And during the event, 37 CSIR laboratories across the country will portray their research outcomes and achievements. And this event would be open to the public, and they can witness CSIR's academic and research initiatives. Also, the program will include lectures, workshops, puppet shows, etc. Fine. So it is organized by CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Now apart from it, can you tell me Lakhpati Didis functions under which mission? Answer would be National Rural Livelihood Mission. And the Union Minister for Rural Development, who is also our Minister for Panchayati Raj, Mr. Giriraj Singh, had recently chaired the National Conclave on enabling 2 crore Lakhpati Didis. Basically, these are self-help group women members who earn a sustainable income of at least 1 lakh rupees per annum per household. And this is envisaged under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. Okay, so here correct answer would be National Rural Livelihood Mission. When is World Physiotherapy Day observed every year? So every year 8th of September is observed as the World Physiotherapy Day, that is World PT Day, and this year the theme is arthritis and the role of physiotherapists. So this year this day had a special focus on arthritis with an in-depth look at some forms of inflammatory arthritis, including the rheumatoid arthritis and axial arthritis. Fine. So we observe World Physiotherapy Day every year on 8th of September. Next is Sharat Kamal, Harmeet Desai and Sathiyan Ganasekaran are associated with which particular sports? So the Indian men's table tennis team has recently clinched the bronze medal where at Asian Table Tennis Championships 2023 that took place in the Republic of South Korea. And the team composed of Sharat Kamal, Harmeet Desai and Sathiyan, who faced a semi-final defeat to China country. And the Asian Table Tennis Championships 2023 was a qualifier for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Fine. So your correct answer would be table tennis. All of these people are associated with table tennis. Now can you tell me The Durand Cup is associated with which sport? This is a very famous cup, if you know, and it is associated with football. What happened is, recently Mohan Bagan has clinched the Durand Cup 2023 trophy, beating East Bengal at Kolkata. And this was the 132nd Durand Cup tournament, and Mohan Bagan team has won the trophy after 23 years. So with this victory, Mohan Bagan became the first team in the history of Durand Cup to win total 17 titles. Fine. You can be asked that Durand Cup is associated with which sport? Answer would be football. Next is, the Indian Army and Indian Air Force conducted a joint training exercise named as what? So Indian Army's elite Brahmastra Corps in the northeastern states recently conducted a joint training exercise called as Nab Shakti, with participation from both Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. So Brahmastra Corps, which is also known as the 17 Mountain Strike Corps, has been established to carry out strike operations in enemy territory during conflicts in the eastern regions of India. Fine. So recently, Indian Army and Indian Air Force conducted a joint training exercise, the name of which is Nab Shakti. Next is, India has decided to settle WTO poultry dispute with which particular country? So India and the USA have reached an agreement to settle their long-standing World Trade Organization poultry dispute, and this resolution was announced in a joint statement following a meeting between Indian Prime Minister and the US President. And as part of the settlement, India will reduce the tariffs on various American products like frozen turkey, frozen duck, fresh, frozen, dried and processed blueberries and cranberries. Fine. So recently India has decided to settle WTO poultry dispute with the country US. Also, can you tell me, in ICRR, what does the term I stands for? Why it is in news? Because the Reserve Bank of India has recently announced the phased discontinuation of the incremental cash reserve ratio, which was introduced on 10th of August 2023. And this ICRR was implemented to absorb surplus liquidity that was caused by various factors, including the return of 2000 rupees notes to the banking system. And RBI aims to release ICRR funds gradually to avoid the shocks to the system liquidity and ensure orderly money market functioning. Okay, so here I stands for incremental. Next is, a report by which institution has stated that the window to reach climate goals is rapidly closing. So a new report from United Nations has emphasized the urgency of addressing the climate change, stating that the window of opportunity to limit the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level is rapidly closing. And this report highlights that while some progress has been made, countries are very far from achieving the necessary targets to meet this goal. Fine. So here correct answer is United Nations. Also recently RBI has encouraged which set of entities to establish the self-regulatory organizations? Answer is the fintech firms. Okay. So recently Reserve Bank of India has requested or encouraged the fintech entities to establish their own self-regulatory organizations, and it would serve as a non-governmental entity which is responsible for creating and enforcing industry-specific codes of conduct on transparency, fair competition and consumer protection. So they would act as intermediaries between regulators and market participants. Fine. So here these are fintech firms. Next is, NASA's MOXIE successfully generated oxygen on which planet? So the US Space Agency NASA has announced that its Mars Oxygen in situ resource utilization experiment, that is MOXIE, which is on board the Perseverance Mars rover, has been successful in generating oxygen at the planet Mars. And this equipment demonstrated its ability to convert Martian carbon dioxide into oxygen, and this technology breakthrough could play a crucial role in future human mission to the Mars, providing a sustainable source of breathable air and rocket propellant, right? So two questions can be asked from this slide. NASA's MOXIE successfully generated oxygen on the planet Mars. And what is the full form of MOXIE? It is Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, okay? Also, you should know that scientists of the country China have successfully grown human kidneys inside pig embryo, okay? And this has presented a potential solution to the shortage of transplant organs. And this groundbreaking achievement involved inserting human stem cells into pig embryos, which resulted in kidneys containing 50 to 60% of human cells, fine? So you can be asked that scientist of which country has recently grown human kidneys inside pig embryo? Answer would be the country China. Next is, medal of the city of Paris has been revoked from whom? So Paris mayor has recently revoked the prestigious medal of the city of Paris awarded to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in 2015 due to his recent comments denying the Holocaust historical truth. So in an open letter, Paris mayor has expressed strong condemnation for Abbas' remarks and emphasized that they were contrary to our universal values and the historical truth of the Holocaust, right? So recently it has been revoked from Mahmoud Abbas. And now the last question says, which place has become Florida's first sanctuary city for LGBTQ plus individuals and their families? So the Lake Worth beach that is situated in southeastern Florida has made history by becoming Florida's first sanctuary city for LGBTQ plus individuals and their families, and the unanimous decision by Lake Worth beach commissioners signifies a significant milestone in the LGBTQ plus community's fight for inclusivity and acceptance. And basic aim is to provide a safe and welcoming environment for the LGBTQ plus residents, okay? Now can you tell me which country is developing artificial intelligence powered ghost sharks submarine? This is the country Australia, and Australian Navy is rapidly developing this AI powered unmanned submarine called as Ghost Shark with a per unit cost of just over $23 million. And these submarines will be delivered by mid 2025, which would offer a cost effective and swift solution to enhance their naval capabilities. Also, the country is investing in a costly and slow project to acquire up to 13 nuclear powered attack submarines, with each submarine estimated to cost nearly 28 billion Australian dollar, that is overall $18 billion, fine. So Australia is developing AI powered Ghost Shark submarine. Also, the Deep VZN is a research initiative of which country? Answer would be USA. Why it was in news? Because USA has abruptly terminated funding for its Deep Vision program, which is a research initiative that is designed to discover and study thousands of exotic pathogens worldwide. And basic aim is to collect over 500,000 samples from across the globe and analyze nearly 12,000 viruses found within these samples. So this decision comes as the US government re-evaluated the relative risk and impacts of the research program, okay? You can be asked that Deep VZN is a research initiative of which country? Answer would be USA. So these are the most important current affairs and the news from today. And now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions, and at the end of the lecture do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.